Well, we are going to continue the reading. Not Ephesians, Confucius. Ephesians. That's terrible. Okay, so I think we are somewhere. I don't know where we are right now. So
I forget if you're one ahead or one behind. What mine says.
nor do I. So as a 421.
I think.
Said, let me read the original text, then do the translation in the English spotted. Confucius said, I'm sorry, I'm just translating. I'm really sorry. Okay. So, 子曰：古之言之不处，持公之不待也。Confucius said, man of the old times or ancient times, they seldom give out a pledge or a promise, afraid or that they would not able to act upon it, or their actions they may not able to accomplish this, to fulfill the promises. So. Now, the word there's a day is day. There is a 公子不待，公 means body. 不待 means to catch up with something. It's like holding a tail of something. Animal, for example, a horse, right? So means the animal usually catch animal in the hunting of games. The animal will run very fast. So those days don't have guns or certain traps, where it basically has to physically to run over, to run, compete with the animal's speed. Therefore, they will catch the tail, try to wrestle the animal. That's the old way of hunting. Understands my point, So, the other places in chapter 1, when we talk about, there is one. Confucius said, be diligent with practice of things rather than being and be careful with your words, or slow with your word, which is exactly like James said in the Bible. Mm-hmm. What he said?
Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger.
No, again, here's the speak, and then anger. And in James said he was not talking about don't talk.
Right.
What is really talking about? He was talking about what then? That's interesting, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was talking less about an action and more about an attitude.
Yeah. Neither down he talk about people talking about worry about the money, want to talk about tomorrow they're going to do this, tomorrow they're going to do that. So it's talking about like John's Gospel, talking about the love of the world, things of the world. Basically, they can really occupy their mind, occupy their interest. He said, hey, don't show many interest in those things. The wisdom from below is earthly, sensual, and even demonic. Why you want to indulge those things? So on the other side, he did tell us to basically the ways of you see wisdom should guide into action. My point is not to do teaching of James, but to bring into kind of a comparison with Confucius' own instruction as a teacher. Evidently, the man of wisdom, they understand. If the Confucius or James don't talk, why we have the words recorded? Why we listen to them, right? So, why we should teaching on it, expound on it. Evidently, there are certain kind of things worth to invest more time to think about it, teach about it, but those are things that pertain to righteous living, right? So, and then the will of the world, the desire of the world, the enticement of the world. Peter said, one thing leads to another, eventually lead you away from righteous living. That's the things you have to slow to speak, slow to get agitated. Why you agitated with something? Because James said, you don't get what you want, basically, So Now, the first thing you need to think about in this context is be sure and be clear what you want is the right thing. Then he said, dwell upon those things, diligent with those things, practice those things. So in our life, we can have a broad interest, which I recommend have a good interest, not be simplistic, about things, innocently oblivious about things. Am I ignorant in a sense? It's the fools of the world being ignorant. You want to be informed. You want to acquire the in-depth or broad of things. And that means you spend a lot of time, forget why you do things. My point is that to properly such ways of when seeing it, the teacher didn't tell you a certain kind of methods. We see, never talk, never do anything. He's just every day afraid the word is going to trip him, or afraid that others are going to misconstrue him. But that's not who they are. They are teachers. Every day they do what? They pay attention to teaching, right? They hang around with people all day. They teach them life wisdom. Confucius did, James did, Jesus did. So if we compare to this man, this word few with word, don't talk anything, to the teachers of wisdom, that's incompatible, right? At the same time, this kind of teacher we're talking about, they concentrate the things matters that are not disengaging the things that are for godly wisdom, right? Rather narrow down God's wisdom. So when they talk about the slow to speak, slow to get agitated, and making sense, they were not talking about the things that are not pertain to godliness. Amen. Hallelujah. They were talking about. They were talking about the things not pertaining to godliness. Be slow with it. Right? So withdraw from it. At the same time, be diligent. Be impassioned about it. Being enthused about it. Invest your life into it. So. And seize every opportunity, he said. Paul said, seize every opportunity, so, and be educator and a teacher, basically teacher and a student for wisdom, right? Godly wisdom. That's exactly what Confucius said, So then the other aspect of this thing, I'm sorry, just launch into expounding, is what they're talking about is more relating to promises. The Bible also speaking about do not make commitment. Do not swear falsely. Do not be slow with the committing words with another. Making sense to you? If you did commit to it, he said, even if it hurt you, keep your word. Keep your word. That's something I think modern day people don't do it. Actually, those days we translate legal arrangement, right? Let's sign your documents. Even you sign the documents, we still wrestle with the clauses of what are we really talking about, right? Nobody really come with this document to honor the original intent. We know what the original intent is. We even argue about the Constitution about it. We argue about the will, about many things when things turn sore or things turn contentious. We act on the worst instinct, using the law, try to arbitrate or make judgment about those things, right? So, as in we settle it. Is that the way society should do, or religion should do, or commitment should do? There is a better way, right? In the ancient times, people honor the words. Their words mean something. So somebody said so. This means something, right? So we didn't yield to that credibility and the judgment and the relationship, the benefit of the relationship thereof, and the arbitration of the relation thereof, or decision thereof, to some crook lawyers or rigid, impersonal rules and routines, right? So we base on who we are. So in thinking about it, in the end, it's really a different way to understand who God is. God is a word. Keep His word. He's a promise keeper, and he speak, he commit to it, to bring it forth. But there's a way that how it manifested in a personal walk, right? So, making sense to you? So, now, I would okay for, let's see, if I'm a young lady, I said, okay, Elijah, okay, we become a girlfriend, boyfriend. I'm sorry to inspire in a sense. I want to draw that sharp topic for you guys, a sense topic, but it's very flimsy, right? So today is, tomorrow not. I mean, the modern culture thing, right? So they can decide whatever. Now that's not biblical pattern. That's not serious pattern for personal engagement as well. That's why there's will be betrothed, right? So now if a girl come to me and said, okay, I really don't like rice today. In the morning I told you I'm gonna make some rice, but I don't want to eat rice tonight. I just arbitrarily change to be noodles. That's good. You understand each other. Then freedom is okay. You don't blame her, for changing it. You can quickly brush that. If you heat the meal, you heat noodle, you can say, okay. So, but when a girl said, I'm not your girlfriend anymore, I don't want to get married with you anymore, you want to be betrothed, right? So I don't want to honor the marriage, you want to get married. There's something wrong with that kind of freedom, okay, claim for independence for decision, right? Because dishonor a whole array, wasn't about you, but the whole array, her own life, her person's, any person's life. There's a lot of people invest in that relationship. There's a lot of commitment made, adjustment made for people around you, right? You don't just rush into the decision and say it's romantic decision, it's personal feeling, it's my choice, my freedom. That's true. You can claim that all day long. But when you make decisions in such a level, would the decision be meaningful to anybody? Meaningful for yourself, it's in response for yourself, not meaningful for the people you're with, not meaningful for life, for God especially, right? In the end of the day. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my point is then where it started? It maybe started with the kind of freedom we apply to ourselves. Oh, in the morning, I told you I'm going to make rice. I just don't feel like it. So I'm going to make noodle for myself. Careless what Elijah think about noodle. You commit your word. So you're going to make that decision based on what you like in dinner time. By the way, you understand my point. Or you said, well, I don't really feel like eating rice, but because I have put on my word in the morning and committed myself to somebody, that's my point. I promise. In this case, maybe two of you don't like noodle or rice, whatever you were talking about. Elijah don't like rice, but you said you're going to make rice. You don't feel like rice in the day. But what do you do? Because you committed to make rice, you committed to make rice. If you don't with necessary communication, I don't have Elijah's blessing or agreement, approval, said, okay, he's going to let us change to be noodle, am I right? So that's simple conversation. But if Elijah is unreachable in between time, and he come back from the trip, whatever, what I do? Should I prepare dinner with rice or with noodle? That's a simple decision, James. Very small decision. And I'm giving you zooming in a pattern, a practice. So when Confucius said, 美于事, or be careful with the diligence, the faithfulness, complete your word. That sounds very simple. What I shared is ridiculous simple and ridiculously of care. Am I right? In the day, you really don't need to care about it. But if a person continue walking decision life like this, there is something you might be very careful about when you want to be betrothed together, right? I mean, into a marriage with that person. Why? Because his ways, commitment is not ordering what the word betrothed really means. You understand my point? because the betrothing to marriage, that's not something like a symbolized dinner, right? So now, do you want a person to live with you ever for the rest of your life, have an impact over the generations behind you, all the relations around you, be a person continue double-minded? Did they see this